one of the things that stuck with me the most about not really taking a life, but seeing the human aspect on the backside is having to walk the family past them, and that's their dad. They feel the same way about him as I do about mine, same way you do about yours. Buddy, I didn't want to do that, dude. I didn't at all. Like, I'm a human too, but if I don't, he's gonna shoot me. You know, that one weighs on you. Hey guys, I'm DJ Shipley, retired Navy SEAL, and today I'm gonna answer questions out of the honesty box. All right, here we go. What made you want to join Special Forces? Big military family growing up. My dad was a SEAL, and basically right when he graduated SEAL, the SEAL pipeline, my mom gave birth to me, so his entire time in the SEAL teams was my childhood all the way through. Back to my earliest memory, the only thing I was ever around were commandos. Every male influence from the time I was a day old until the day I left the house, the only influence I had anywhere was only special operations guys. And I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with their personalities, just the way they carried themselves, and I really, really wanted to be a part of it.
How old were you when you finally got to join up?
I joined the Navy at 17. I graduated a year early, right as the towers fell, and yeah, never looked back. How fit were you at your peak? A freak. You just were. We were attending a selection course, kind of quarter way through my career, a little before halfway through my career. And we trained for it for 6 months. We had about 25 of us get together. We had a full-time strength and conditioning coach came in, and it looked, minus the steroids, it looked like that scene from Rocky IV when he's fighting Dolph Lundgren. We were taking blood on the treadmills. We had O2, the entire thing for 6 straight months, running, swimming, the diet, everything we wanted to do. He put us through like little guinea pigs. Every single physical test we wanted to be able to do, we were hitting those numbers, all the timed runs, the timed swims, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, bench press, everything. Everything you wanted to hit, every single person were hitting their numbers. And we lived that thing for 6 straight months. When you came out of it, the only thing that upset everybody is that you knew you couldn't maintain it. You basically peaked for the selection course and you're like, all right, everybody take a selfie because you're never gonna be like this again. Mm-hmm. And that's the honest truth. It's so hard to maintain that because you have to be so good at so many other things, and you kind of just gotta make yourself as well-rounded as possible. So once you get there, you try not to peak. You try just to maintain a really high average, and you round that out really through experience. You take the 25 dudes close to you, if you all do the exact same events, where everybody kind of stack out, and you just try to be 5% better than that. Now I'm setting the pace. And now I'm on a gradual progression, and they're all doing the same thing with me. But yeah, really, really well-rounded. I look back at some of the numbers we were able to do back then, and there's no way I could do it now, but it was fun to do it while we were young, for sure. How does it feel to take a life? I think it really depends on the scenario. Some of them, when it's super reactionary, it scares the death out of you and you barely survive it. There's a huge adrenaline dump and then it all drops down, hands really, really shaky, a full cortisol dump. And other times there's no feeling at all, like not a bit. And it makes you feel weird at first. And when you realize that this is just the game you play, you can't get all wrapped up in it. You can't wrap too much human emotion around it or it'll make you second guess at the moment. And you just can't. You train the way you train, the exact way you're gonna do it in reality, and trying to get too connected to it. But it's hard for a lot of it. Like the human aspect can't be ignored. And I think that's the hardest thing for me. And I think the guys who are in the early GWOT will say it, especially for me. I was super young. I was running around Baghdad at 19 years old. And one of the things that stuck with me the most about not really taking a life, but seeing the human aspect on the backside is having to walk the family past them. And that's their dad. They feel the same way about him as I do about mine, same way you do about yours. And that's a human element you just can't get around. Like, they freak and they start bawling and they look at you and it's like, oh my God, I did that. And then it gets really weird when they're just old enough to watch that turn to hatred. And you can see it in their eyes. They look at that, they look right at you and it just dials up. Oh, buddy, I didn't want to do that, dude. I didn't at all. Like, I'm a human too, but if I don't, he's gonna shoot me. And they don't care if he's a terrorist, they don't care if he has a suicide vest on, they don't care. Now they hate you. And a lot of that, it weighs on you, depending on the scenario, how old they are. That one weighs on you.
And you were so young when you first went out, yeah.
Just a baby.
Yeah.
How quickly do you take out everyone in this room? From my position now, 7 seconds. I'm gonna flip the table, I'm gonna run that way so you can't get out of the door, and I'm gonna comb you all back over here. Yeah. I'm gonna just funnel everybody in the one corner and, yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. What's the most horrific thing you've seen? I think most people, when you would characterize horrific, it would be something bloody, gory, something just your eyes can't unsee. And I've definitely seen a lot of that. When I see this question, I don't think about any of that. I think the most horrific thing that I've seen, I'm gonna try not to get emotional with this one. So like I said, I grew up in and around the SEAL teams, and I was very much an idealist. And when I first checked in, there are some polarizing figures inside of those organizations that you cannot help but fall in love with. You look up to them and you see them as a big brother, as a stepfather, as a father, because I was very, very young. And there were a couple dudes in that team that I absolutely worshipped. And one of those guys was in our kind of a sister platoon in 2005, and the rest of his platoon was killed in Operation Red Wings. Marcus Luttrell and the whole lone survivor, they were on the helo, he was on the other helo. Our next deployment, he got with me, and we were in a really gnarly firefight together, and he got shot multiple times, and he pulled one of the most heroic moves I've ever seen in my entire life. Shot multiple times, running forward against the barricaded shooter, and is dragging back a wounded teammate, getting shot again, getting back up, grabbing him again, dragging him back, getting shot again, grabbing him, dragging him back. And we eventually got him all behind this tire, and he'd been shot through the humerus bone, it shattered it and blew out his brachial artery, and his arm had flipped over around his shoulder, and he thought it was gone. And we're trying to navigate putting a tourniquet on this. We're still under crazy fire. And, you know, I end up stopping the bleeding, but he has lost so much blood. We finally end the firefight and we get him inside the helo. We start working on him more, finding more gunshot wounds. And we have a guy shot in the face, another guy shot in the leg. Multiple guys are shot, and the whole back of that helicopter looked like the scene from Black Hawk Down, when he said you should probably wash the blood out of Humvees. That's what it looked like. Just magazines and bullets and carbines and blowout kits and tourniquets, and just my friends shot to pieces laying at my feet. And the dude that I'm working on is one of the dudes that was my absolute idol. And it's the weirdest thing to work on a buddy that you've known for years, that you truly, truly love, and to not think you've done it right, and to hold him as they're loading him onto a stretcher and think that Superman is dying in your arms. It is something that you cannot ever get past. I remember kissing him on the forehead and sliding him off that gurney, and they pulled him away. I thought I'd never see him again. I would have bet my entire life savings he was gonna die right then, right there. And because I'm an idealist and because I grew up in this community, I never thought that would happen to me. Not the dude that I worshipped, not my demigod. It ain't gonna happen to me. And when it did, it was a shock of reality that I have never gotten past. It reset my entire baseline, and it showed me that it doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, how well you're trained. If it has your number, it has your number. And I am so thankful that the tourniquet went on right. It did stop the bleeding, and he is about this close from not making it. And they get him a blood transfusion just in time, pulls through, has his surgeries. He was just in my house a couple weeks ago, and that scene, that whole experience is something that sets with me, that I compartmentalize and I pack it way down deep. And when I need an ounce of humility, I draw it out and I look at it. That moment in time was the moment I felt the most vulnerable in my entire life. I felt completely exposed, and I felt like I'd been living a lie. Like, by going to this selection course and wearing this on my uniform and joining this organization, that would never happen to me because we're too highly trained. It's just not the case. We're all human. Put our pants one leg at a time. And that was definitely the most horrific thing that I've seen, just because the unconditional love I had for that guy and the fact that it happened at my feet. And I think about it probably more often than I should. Are you scared of sharks? I don't like sharks for sure, but just like anything in special operations, if they say do it, you're just gonna do it blindly. I've been forced into some weird scenarios. Sharks have definitely been involved. And it's just one of those things, like, you just see everybody doing it. And I know it rings back to what your mom said. If all your friends jump off a bridge, you gonna do it too? Yep, as long as the first one waves once he hits the water. And they did, and so we all did it. I mean, we did one, we jumped in Australia, and that was one of the sketchiest things I've ever done. Australia has a lot of great white sharks, a lot. And the place we were jumping into, we were doing the jump master brief, and we were jumping this big harbor, and they pull up the plot, and we're all looking at it, and there's all these red dots that are moving around. And I'm like, are they gonna clear all the boats out of the way? Like, so we can land, like there's a lot of traffic. And he's like, yeah, those aren't boats. And so what are they? He's like, those are tagged sharks. Oh dear, those are tagged sharks. Right in the middle of the bay, here we go. Jumped right in the middle of it. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's
Nothing
terrifying.
happened. Yeah. You don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. You hit the water, it's like, get your stuff off as fast as you can, get in the boat and let's go. Like, you don't even have time to think about it. But no, I most certainly don't like sharks, and I've had a couple things really bump me in the big black ocean where nothing should have been left and right of me, and it freaks you out. I don't know if it's a manatee, I don't really know, I don't really care. Reach over and there's nothing there. I'm like, oh my God, okay, here we go, let's go.
Just a nice dolphin.
Just go ahead, yep, just a nice dolphin.
Just a nice dolphin.
It's a nice dolphin. How does war change a person? Every way it could. You think about normal people living on their couch right now, working a 9 to 5. You've never had high-level violence directed at you. You've never seen a dead body. You've never been shot. You've never been shot at. You've never seen your friends die. You've never had to do anything like that. And then all of a sudden it is in your face and you are consumed by it. You can't be the same person you were or you wouldn't survive it. You have to evolve. And a lot of that's through training. A lot of it's through culture. A lot of it's through the actual unit you're with. But it has to change you. If you just took out normal 9 to 5 people and just dumped them in that, they wouldn't be very successful. You have to be able to adopt really for the culture you're supporting, the unit you're supporting, and be a perfect physical representation of what they need to be successful on the battlefield. That could be very different depending on the unit. That could be very regimented with a flat top haircut in the Marine Corps. It could be very unconventional in special operations. But I think ultimately, like, you have to be willing to evolve to achieve the mission. If you come in day one, week one, exactly who you are, and you're not willing to change to accomplish the mission, war is not going to suit you well because it is rapid change every single day. They make a change, you have to counter it. You develop this, they develop that, you have to develop something else to counter theirs. Just constant evolving, not only personally, professionally, tactically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, one constant change. Thank you for your service from your friends across the pond. Thanks, mate. I love the boys from the UK. One of my best friends is over there. I got to work with those dudes a lot in my career, and probably one of my coolest introductions ever to the special operations guys from the UK. I was in Iraq and mid kind of career, 2008, 9-ish, and those guys were walking through the chow hall. And when they all walked in, you could hear them talk, you could hear the accents, you knew who they were, but they all had American flags on their plate carriers. And I'm looking at them, like, so one of them walked by me and I bumped him, I was like, hey, what's up with the flag? Got to blame it on somebody, and kept walking, and I laughed so hard. And every time you'd see them, like, they were just so cool, and I thought they represented the brand. I thought they represented the UK so well. Not polished, not pretty, but just exactly what you wanted them to be. Like, when I close my eyes and I imagine a soft guy from the UK, and those dudes pop in my mind, and they still do this day. I absolutely love them. Do you wholeheartedly trust your comrades? You have to. You have to. Like, at the end of the day, there's so much on the line, and a lot of times it's just you guys. It could be you and 12 other people for a decade plus. It's the same team. Like, you end up falling in love with these guys. And that was something I thought was cool that my dad said. He's like, you'll get inside of this team, and a couple of these guys will latch onto you, and you'll become closer than actual blood family members. Like, you'll do anything for each other. Where there's one, there's two. Where there's three, there's four. And once that community and that collectiveness starts to build and build, he's like, you just hold on to it as tight as you can. Because those people will show up in your darkest moments, whether it's in the military, out of the military. When you really, really, truly need them, they'll absolutely show up because they've seen you go the entire way for them. It's just a reciprocal thing over and over. I'm just proving my loyalty over and over, and so are you. So when I really, truly need you, when you really call me, like, I'm in a jam, I'm over there before the phone can even finish ringing. There's nothing I've been more impressed with than to see a group, of 25 heterosexual males sit in a room and just profess their unconditional love for each other. It is one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of because they mean it. If I got to go right now with this group, I am more than happy to fully send it. And there's a real piece in that because you get put in some really sketchy scenarios, and when you're looking around the helicopter, it's like, if this thing goes in right now, I couldn't put in one more good dude that I love more than these guys. It's such a relieving feeling to know that you're going in harm's way, and it's like, if I don't make it home, I don't care. I'd be super proud to die next to these guys. Yeah, you definitely love them wholeheartedly.
Do you think that level of camaraderie and I would die for you exists outside of the military? Do you think it's entirely unique to that experience?
You know, I don't know, because a lot of people say it, but not a lot of people ever been put in a position to do it. So it's easy to say. It's a lot harder to actually do. And when you see it actually done in real life, I mean, jaw-dropping. When you witness it, it's like, thinking back and I get super emotional. Like, I've seen some moves in the past that are like, you put that in Hollywood right now, no one would believe that happened. I can't believe I witnessed it with my own eyes. It's like, that's love. That is. Ever come across any pirates? Yeah, pirates are alive and well, all around the Horn of Africa. And I don't recommend going. I definitely don't recommend sailing out there. Don't try to go write a book on Somali pirates and interview them. They will capture you and they'll hold you for ransom, and that'll be a very bad day. So don't do that. Yeah, pirates are alive and well. That's their main source of revenue down there. No, you don't want to go meet them. That's already been done, and they definitely got kidnapped. So, do you have PTSD? Yeah, I do. But it doesn't control me. I don't really even think about it. There's just certain things that jog my memory of past events that I just try to avoid. And it might be things that are silly to most people. I don't like tall grass. I don't like cornfields. I don't like scary houses. I don't like Halloween. I don't like things that are supposed to jump out and scare me and I'm not supposed to react. I don't like any of that because my reactions are what saved me. So I don't like to be put in a position where I have to drop my guard and allow you to get the drop on me. I don't like that. I don't know if that's PTSD or just part of my personality. I know that for a long time I did struggle with what I'd just say stereotypical PTSD. Nightmares, the sweats, the anxiety, the depression, the insomnia, the booze, the pills, everything that everybody always goes through. I've definitely been through that. I'm on the right side of that now, thank God. I would not sit here and suffer in silence. I've tried that before. I did it for a decade plus. It doesn't help. And in case you're wondering, it's not just going to go away. You're going to have to solve this at some point. So talk to somebody. Talk to your wife, talk to your husband, talk to your best friend. Just say the words out of your mouth and tell them what you're going through. I promise you, you are not the only one, especially if you were in military service, law enforcement, fire, some kind of high stress job. Everybody else in that same team has the exact same thing going on. I promise you. I've been the only guy on my island alone too. Not anymore. I just had to say it one time. I encourage you guys, if you guys are struggling with PTSD, just say it. Am I a proud American? 100%. I am, through and through. I've been all over the place, and there are beautiful countries all over. A bunch of them I would love to visit. None that I would want to live in permanently. I think just the freedoms we have here, I think they're taken for granted by a lot. Not by me. And I really like the service. I love the police, I love the firemen, I love the military, I love the first responder community, and I think they represent the brand of being an American extremely well. There's nothing I love more than a patriotic American, nothing. I like patriots in general. I don't care what country you come from. If you have ownership and accountability of where you come from and you make people respect it through how you are as an individual, that's a universal. Everybody can respect that. If I've never met a guy from the UK and I just meet you and I have a positive experience, that's the only thing I'll know. I just want everybody to be a good representative of where they come from and do it with pride and dignity. Are you desensitized to violence? Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think understanding the levels of violence that happen in real time and being able to react to them is somewhat of a superpower. Because a lot of people live in some fictitious world where this doesn't actually happen and they think it'll never happen to them. When you get to see what humans are truly capable of doing to each other, you get really desensitized to it and you start to expect it. So when it starts to happen, you start to solve that problem rapidly because you know what the end state is. You give them an inch, you'll take a mile. Yeah, I am desensitized to violence. But for me, I find it wildly beneficial. Is the US military the best military in the world? Yep, it is. By sheer volume, capability, and experience at this point, In my opinion, it's unquestionable. No, all the allies, all the people who've been stormtrooping through all the conflicts with us, especially homage to the UK, love those guys, my favorite unit to ever work with. But if you look at sheer capability, volume, and experience, I think right now, nobody's coming close. But I also throw that in with our closest allies. I really consider them part of the US blanket. If you're inside of the Five Eyes, we're all in one big team. And yeah, love you guys. What do you wear during combat? It's really changed over the years, but not by much. Camouflage, bottoms, cargo pants, standard military issue, Cry Precision, whatever they're wearing. And it kind of morphed over the years to essentially just combat bottoms and t-shirts. Have your ballistic helmet on, whatever kind of comms, communication device you'd have on, your radio, your plate carrier with ballistic plates front and rear, and then whatever your standard loadout is for carbines, however many magazines, your pistol. For me, it's very unconventional. For a long time, guys would just run around with Carhartt pants. We'd sew cargo pockets on the side of them. It was cool in the early days. And now I think people just have way too much stuff on. Yeah, less is more in a lot of this. You'd be surprised how little the guys actually wear, depending on what unit you're on. They always think you're gonna wear like some mountaineering boot, like we're gonna climb the Himalayas, even though you are. Vans.
Really?
Yeah, the ones I got on, my favorite pair of shoes I ever wore.
Vans, really?
Yeah. You got just enough tread, but when you break them in, it feels like a moccasin. It's the best. They don't pick up rocks. And that's like the small stuff that really matters. You're walking for hours and you pick up a rock, you gotta stop and get it out.
Yeah.
If you don't get it out, now you walk on a tile floor, it's so loud, it drags across the floor and you can't get that noise signature back. It's like now if I limit it, now my shoes won't pick up rocks. That's part of like really obsessing over your craft. The small things, no metal, it's not gonna hit the metal gate, it's not gonna make any noise, just being a master of every decimal you could potentially create and then avoiding creating them.
It's amazing what skateboarding does for the world, eh?
People used to, you look down, everybody's wearing some type of skateboard shoe. What skills make a great soldier? I used to think discipline, courage, all the standard things, but now I really think it's the same thing that makes a really good team player. It's just what it is. Really taking, the same goals that everybody else on the team have and putting them before yourself and then adopting a routine that makes you better at solving all the problems to get the necessary end state. So everything you do as a soldier is like, am I getting myself better every single day so I'm an active member of the team that everyone can lean on? To me, that's really what it is. I used to always think it was honor, courage, commitment, all the taglines, all the slogans. And at the end of the day, just be a really good dude who's a really good team player. And you can just take that universal concept and apply him anywhere. Did you ever disobey orders you believe to be morally wrong? No. I've also never had anything that was even remotely morally questionable. And people ask me this a lot. Like, would you ever say no to this? You've been ordered to kill children. It's Hollywood, man. That's not reality. Like all these guys, every one of them are fathers. They're all husbands. They're all normal people, walking Labradors, picking up kids from dance and daycare. We're normal people. We're not doing that. I've never even heard of anything like that. To me, when people see that, it's like folktale. That's not real. Nobody's doing that. There's no officer out there giving you some crazy order like, kill the village. Like, that's never a thing. It's just not. And for people to think that it is, stop watching Hollywood. But I absolutely would though. I'm just grateful that I've never been put in a weird position like that. How important is humor in the military? It's probably one of the things that's overlooked the most, but it's one of the most crucial for team dynamics, building a collective energy and feeding off each other. Because there's a lot of stuff in the military it's terrible. Everybody hates it. Some parts just flat out suck. And it takes one person to break the ice. I used to say it all the time. We'd be laying in a surf zone, jackhammering, holding on to each other, just getting surf torched, and the waves are just crashing. And I would say something smart ass like, at least it's not cold. We'd get a couple chuckles and you just break the monotony. Like, we're all in this thing together. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. And it'll sound weird unless you've lived a life, but it's very common to hysterically laugh during funerals. Somebody will get up and they'll be giving a eulogy, and it is the funniest thing you've ever heard in your entire life because you know it's all true, and all these people don't know how to react, and the only people that are laughing are the people that really know him and the people that have spent a decade with him plus. And bent over double, tears rolling, can't stop laughing, and it's only 40 of us because we're the only ones who really get it, and we only get that dark humor because it saved us so many times from total despair. Yeah, humor's hugely important in the military. All branches, all services. Last one?
Last one.
Okay. What are you most proud of? No one's ever asked me that. I've never even thought about that. Never. I think now that I'm out and I get to look back on everything that I've done, if I lined up all the successful events and all the failures all the way through, there's more successes and failures probably. I think graduating high school early against my will and joining the Navy at 17 and starting that pipeline is probably something I'm proud of, but the most proud of. But it's so hard because you're so young and it's not lost on me. Like, I didn't know how to drive on the highway when I went to Coronado, California and started SEAL training. I didn't have a cell phone. I had nothing. Never been away from home, really. I didn't know anything. I jumped on a plane, made one touchdown and landed in Coronado, California and started. I didn't know anything and I was absolutely scared to death, but I was so blind that I didn't know what I was really getting into. I just took it one day at a time, one evolution at a time, and somehow just started stringing up successes over and over and got to the process. And I think now that I look back on it all, I really got to achieve everything I ever wanted to achieve. And at the end of it now, I can look back on that entire chapter, turn the page, and I'm still married to my best friend. I got 2 healthy daughters, successful company, surrounded by some of my best friends. I get to hire a bunch of my old teammates. And I think now that I look back on what I've been able to do in my first 39 years, it's more than I ever thought I'd be able to do. So I think now looking back on it, just the journey, the fact that I'm still here, the fact that I hadn't been killed, I hadn't really ran off the deep end. Yeah, I think just all the little micro wins that have stacked up and all the times that I didn't think I was gonna make it and somehow I did. Yeah, I think my first 39 years, pretty proud of that. Looking forward to the next chapter.
How quickly could you take out everyone in this room? Depends what I've got, doesn't it? I've got decent sized grenades to just about cope with this lot. If I'm down to a sharp pencil, it's going to take a while and get a bit messy, isn't it?